Shalom, Israel. Shalom. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shah, Barakatham, and Shamaratham to the sisters, man. Everybody in the four corners, stay girded up, stay in the spirit, man. We happy to join you again. We want to say Tawada Yahweh, Tawada Yahweh, Tawada Yahweh, just for giving us the ability to come in front of you, man, as humble servants. I'm the brother Yonatan.
Brother Haran, Soldier Haran.
Shalom, shalom.
That's right. And look, we out here, man. We the sons of Thunder Israelites. Look, it's our heart's prayer and desire to all Israel, or to God, for all Israel, that they might be saved. And we wanna first of all ask y'all to hit that like button. I don't understand Israel. I do not understand Israel. How you can watch a whole video and not hit the like button?
Yo, that's crazy.
We on average we only get about 10% likes. So we gotta do better, Israel. Come on.
Brothers don't like the content, I guess, or something.
I don't know what it is. With them likes, man.
It's crazy. Hey, we want to go ahead and say shalom to the family. Shalom, Joanne Gilchrist, Yaquab Israel, Christina, Soldier Kivan, shalom, Soldier Boaz, shalom, Dre. Who else we got in here? Theophilus Williams, Kazakia, Yasha Allah, shalom, shalom. Azania, shalom, sis.
Sister Monica, shalom.
Shalom, shalom. Yawasap, Ramonica, share that thought, and Kazak. Oh, I already said Kazakia. So shalom Israel.
Hey, yo, share this on your social medias, y'all. Share this. Hey, share this right. Class. Brothers been putting in some work. Brother, yo, the new soldier Aharon, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna follow y'all, man.
I'm telling you, man, we gonna put that brother to work. All the new soldiers, all of the soldiers in general, man, who willing to step up and do the work, y'all gonna see a lot more of them brothers, because we're gonna put these brothers to work.
That's right.
So y'all share the video, man. Put this information out there. All Israel needs to know about what we bringing out today.
And we got the receipts, Israel. And we got the
receipts.
Hey, look, we're gonna show you. Want to invite your family members to this class, because what your family members are gonna learn tonight is this. You can't trust the guy that you voted for. You cannot trust the guy that you voted for. All right? Shalom Jarvis. Shalom First Tribe Son. Shalom Warrior Micah Allah. Abaya. Yael Israel. Khan. All praises. Hey, we're going to go ahead and get started, man. No further ado. All right? So look, what you want to do first is look in the description. We got some links in the description. All right? Y'all can go back and get all these receipts. But I'm going to tell you something. This crafty counsel that the Lord spoke about, man, it don't get no more craftier than this. All right? I'm going to start at Genesis chapter 3 and verse 1.
Hey, Salakia. I don't know.
You good?
I don't know if you hit it, because I kept going in and out. Yo, grab your Bibles, man. Grab your apocryphas. Grab your pens and your pads. Take these notes down. You know what I'm saying? Yo, let's give all honor and glory to the Most High. Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Yahweh Shai. The water to the Most High. The water for...
You froze up a little bit there.
I don't know. In the Matrix.
You froze up. Hey, but look, what he's saying is... All right, we can hear you, but it hadn't come back yet. Hold on. Until he get it back. But
I got that Genesis 3 and 1 whenever you're ready.
All right, Khan. Yeah, so basically, we are a Bible school, so what you want to do is when you join this class, Baba Kasha, do not just be on the class. If you're just going to be on the class, you're wasting your own time. Right. All right? Be on the class, gathering your precepts, gathering your notes. So what you need is your KJV Bible. You're going to need that Apocrypha. We're going to get in there a little bit. And you want to also have a notepad ready so you can take these notes, because we're going to have a couple of things to show you, all right? So let's start in Genesis 3 and 1. And then when he come back, we'll let him understand what he was saying.
All right, this is the book of Genesis, chapter 3 and verse 1. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field, which the Lord God had made. And he said unto the woman, Yea, hath God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden?
All right. So without breaking down Genesis, right? Because that's not the topic of this class. But it says that the serpent was the most subtle of all the creatures of the field.
Right.
And that's very important to understand, man, because your enemy is very subtle. Your enemy is not the type of guy that come out in the open and kill you. He gonna stab you in the back. He gonna give you a hug and stab you with the left hand.
Mm-hmm.
Right up under the fifth rib. You know what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So we gotta be cognizant of this thing. All right? And we gotta just understand who we dealing with. All right. So I ain't gonna hold you too long, man. We're gonna get right into it, right? So the first thing I want to deal with is how we trust our oppressors. Right? We trust the so-called white man, right, and his government structure to lift us out of the ghetto and out of the position that he put us in. All right, let's bring them back in. All right, Khan, there we go. But yeah, we trust our enemy to lift us up out of the dunghill that he set us in. And this is madness because us being in the position we in is the reason he prospers. All right. So we want to highlight that and we want you to think about that as we go through this lesson today. Okay. All right, Khan. Let me get a precept. Let's get Lamentations 4:17. And I'm gonna hold Psalms 83, and we're gonna hit that one a couple of times probably.
All right, this is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and verse 16. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
Khan, that's right. We looking for a nation that cannot save us, man. All right. So I want to show you something that proves that the nation you looking to cannot save you and is not trying to save you. Did you know that in 1967, all right, Lyndon B. Johnson put together a commission, a government-funded commission to research the events that were going on in your neighborhoods, in black neighborhoods. He put together a government-funded committee that their whole job was to use experts in the field, top experts from around the country, and they conducted research in inner city ghettos and hoods, and they came up with this report. And this report is called the Kerner Commission report. Now, you never heard of this report. Obama never spoke about this report. Now, another very important thing is this. When this report was published, when this report was the final copy of this was published and released to the public, it was about a month before the death of Martin Luther King. Just put these dates together real quick, and I'm going to pull this up on the screen. Right? Just think about this. Put this in your mind real quick, all right? So this is the report of National Advisory Commission on Civil Disorders. And we know what happened after King died, right? After King died, our people just had enough, man. We was kind of hoping that he was going to be the guy. Shalom, Nayam, Shalom, and Sydney. Shalom, Benyamin. But look, we was kind of hoping that Martin Luther King was going to be that guy, man. They already killed they had already killed Malcolm, right? After that, they killed Martin. Then shortly after that, Fred Hampton died, right? So our hope was just diminishing quickly, and our people was like, "Yo, I done had enough, man." Like after they killed King, people just started losing their mind.
Don't forget they had the Garvey movement. They had a lot of other different things, man. They discredited. They investigated Garvey like they investigated Malcolm X, like they investigated
correct
Martin Luther King. You know what I'm saying?
COINTELPRO.
Yeah.
COINTELPRO, that's right. That's right. And the government was involved in that. And we're going to go into how your government is working craftily and subtly to bring you down, even today, right? But the reason I'm bringing this out is this. After our people had enough, we started doing what? Rioting, start burning stuff, just civil unrest, man. So Lyndon B. Johnson decided to put together this commission in order to discover the true nature of why our people was taking it this way.
Why?
And let me tell you
crazy.
Something. Ain't that crazy?
That's crazy.
That shows you the disconnect between white America and where the so-called Israelites are, man. That shows you the disconnect. It's like how you don't know why we rioting.
Yo, look, they feel like they've brainwashed us and damaged us so much. You know what I'm saying? They had us in slavery and we became so docile. Correct. How dare they stand up and burn down buildings, and you know what I'm saying? Correct. How dare they protest and not do exactly what it is that we say they should do?
And that's so heavy because in a reference that I'm gonna go into a little later, Thomas Jefferson, he even referenced how, like, you know what, calamity and affliction it's commonplace to these people. So correct. Don't worry, it's nothing. Just they're numb to it. They can do it. They can go through anything.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right. And that plays into the trope of that we're dispensable. Absolutely. Right. It plays into that same trope that we're dispensable people and that our lives don't matter. And so, that's the only reason we the only people on the face of the earth that have to say our lives matter. It don't make no sense. But so Lyndon B. Johnson put together this commission. This is his report, right? Based on that commission. It says the only genuine long-range solution for what has happened lies in an attack mounted on every level upon the conditions that breed despair and violence. So he said that what America is doing to so-called black people in the inner cities is an all-out attack on every level, and it breeds despair and violence. All right? He said all of us know what those conditions are: ignorance, discrimination, slums, poverty, disease, not enough jobs. We should attack these conditions, not because we are frightened by conflict, but because we are fired by conscience. We should attack them because there is simply no other way to achieve a decent and orderly society in America. So that's what he said. But I'm going to show you what the report says now. Because, I'm going to tell you something. These white people, they told the truth, man. Now, we know a broken clock can be right twice a day. This is one of those times. All right, so I'm going to go to the preface real quick. Now, these are the people that was on the commission. All right. Now, it was a couple of black people on the commission. You see that? A couple of black people was in there.
NAACP.
Yep.
You got the token guys up in there.
Correct. Back when they was doing something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether we agree with what they was doing or not, that's a different conversation.
Probably down with the boule.
Correct. That's right. All right, hold on. Salakia. And see, I downloaded this document. This is a 500-page document. And look, Israel, you got to read it. You have to read this because they telling you the truth. All right. I'm going to read this quick, and then we're going to move on. It says the summer of 67 again brought racial disorders to American cities, and with them shock, fear, and bewilderment to the nation. The worst came during a 2-week period during July, first in Newark and then in Detroit. Each set off a chain reaction in neighboring communities. All right. Let's jump down. Now, after they did all of this, they put together a 500-page research document, which is this document, and they presented that to the president. He said, our recommendations embrace three basic principles: to mount programs on a scale equal to the dimension of the problems, to aim these programs for high impact in the immediate future, and to undertake new initiatives and experiments that can change the system of failure. All right. So what they're doing right here is they're going to admit, and we're going to read it, they're going to admit guilt for creating the ghetto, right? And I'm not going through this whole document, Israel. That's going to be your job. But they're going to admit guilt for creating the ghetto. They're going to admit guilt for systematic racism. They're going to admit guilt for putting check cashing places in your neighborhood and taking jobs out your neighborhood. They're going to admit guilt for the crack epidemic, or not really crack yet, but for opioids and different drugs in your neighborhood and taking jobs out of your neighborhood. They're going to admit to all of that in this document. So how come your black revolutionaries are not using this? How come every time Obama stand up, he ain't got this in his hand?
Because they hate you.
Because they hate you. They don't care about you. They're not trying to solve nothing. And they knew this since the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
All right? So let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go to chapter 4. Let me scroll down to chapter 4. Salakia. Hey, y'all can say something while I'm scrolling.
Con, man, it's so heavy. And one consistent thing that I want everybody to pay attention to, that this is coming from the top. This ain't coming from, the man at the corner, man, that, your boss. This is coming from the president and the top officials in the United States, right? And I'm going to get this precept right here to kind of, I want you to keep this at the forefront of your mind. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 10 and verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are they that dwell therein. You understand? So if it's coming from the top, you can guarantee all the people that's in the power structure above you, they have the same sentiments. Because this is the reason why the people that get brought up over us, they don't speak out about this type of stuff. They're not your advocate. They're not your friend. Because in order for them to get there, they got to get on the same program as the people who's running this thing.
That's right. It's a fact. It's a fact. And like you said, that's a good point to bring out, man. This is coming from the top. This is the equivalent. This is the equivalent to when Joe Biden came out and said, hey, we're going to lift the ban for people that don't have the vaccine, right? Now, when something like this comes from the top of your executive branch, now the entire government has ripple effects. Everybody is supposed to start moving. That's almost like the man in the household. If he be like, yo, we leaving the house in 10 minutes. Everybody in the house supposed to be ready in 10 minutes. 7 minutes, right? Standing at the door.
Good.
You see what I'm saying? But what happens is when you have people that are doing things, like I think this is really what happened. I want to say that Lyndon B. Johnson probably was like, yo, I really don't know what's going on. He did this research and found out what was going on and got the answers, and he was like, oh, we ain't making all them changes. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't doing all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, he probably saw some of this stuff and was like, ooh, okay, they really went in with this. Okay. All right.
So I'm gonna read verse 18 and back in that Lamentations, because it perfectly lends to what you're bringing out. So it says, verse 18. Once again, this is the book of Lamentations. For those who are just not getting on, this is the book of Lamentations, chapter 4 and 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, and our days are fulfilled, for our end is come. Our prosecutors are swifter than the eagles of heaven. They pursued us upon the mountains. They laid wait for us in the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, because you see right there, it says, listen, we look for a nation that could not save us. That's what you're doing when you're voting for these people. You understand? And who is Lyndon B. Johnson? Ottawa. Tell them for the people. What's his role?
So Lyndon B. Johnson was one of America's presidents.
Yes,
during the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
You see what I mean?
And guess what? Some of y'all foreparents voted for him.
Right.
Yep.
This whole document is explaining to you how they methodically hunt our steps. Because what you got to do, anybody whose work they saw, any type of hunter whose work they saw, they're going to go out in the field. They're going to see where the game is. They're going to see, especially like turkeys and stuff, you're going to see where they perching at. They're going to be facing the south over a body of water. You're going to see that. You're going to find where the acorns are. You're going to do all of that so you can know your prey. So that way, when it comes time to strike, you don't get skunked.
That's right. That's right. You see that? And who we dealing with? We dealing with the master hunter of the earth.
Con.
So we dealing with somebody who understands these principles in his spirit. He was born with these principles, and he knows how to do this. All right? And this is chapter 4. It says the basic causes. Let me tell you something. When you watch TV today, and so-called Esau don't want to talk about critical race theory, and they scared to mention slavery and systematic racism, and they deny it, your government, your executive branch of your government has already proven that systematic racism is a thing.
Right.
So you are arguing you point. Right.
Yeah, they won't admit it, but they had already admitted it with their actions. Correct. And their reports and their deeds. That's why they give redacted reports. That's why they do some of the things that they do. That's right. You know what I'm saying? It's throughout history. What's the result of it? Where we are today, having this class right now, talking about the things that they have done. Right. I got some precepts, but go ahead and bring what you want to bring out. Bring the point you want to.
No, Khan, you good. I'm gonna hit this page and I'm gonna hit another page. All right. Salakia, wrong button. All right. So let's look at it. Right. The basic causes. Now he's not gonna say because y'all lazy. He's not gonna say black people are lazy. He's not gonna say because all y'all want to do is freestyle and sag your pants and don't y'all kill each other. They're not going to any of the basic arguments. They're telling you the truth. He said the basic causes. We have seen what happened. Why did it happen? In addressing this question, we shift our focus from the local to the national scene, from the particular events of the summer of 1967 to the factors within the society at large that create a mood for violence among so many urban Negroes. That create a mood for violence among so many urban Negroes. What's the first thing he says? Pervasive discrimination and segregation. What's the second thing he says? Black migration and the white exodus. We talked about that, Adawan Aharon talked about that when he dealt with redlining back on Thursday Night Thunder. All right? That's the white flight. Yeah. All right? Then that spawns the creation of the black ghetto, right? And so now what happens is you got a bunch of people moving into secondhand housing that white people are now moving out of. The building is already decaying. And do you think the government going to pay to fix that building? They're spending their money on infrastructure in the suburbs.
And you can't get a bank loan, you know what I'm saying, to move out of your area.
Correct.
You got to stay in this area. Man, they did us dirty. I don't even know if you want to get fully into redlining, but go ahead.
Nah, that's right. They had redlining. You couldn't buy a house out of your neighborhood. Right.
Then they had the projects
in the neighborhood.
Correct.
And then they built the projects up. You know what I'm saying? First, man, it's a lot.
That's right.
Come on, we can hold off on that. Go ahead, get to your thing. Because it's so much.
I'm gonna jump down. I'm gonna jump down to chapter 6. But I'm gonna scroll through here just so you can see what they show you in this document. Y'all have to get this document, man. Look, chapter 5. They go through the entire history starting from the colonial period. You would have thought an Israelite was writing this, man. This document right here is like 10 lessons, all in order. And so they start from the colonial period and they talk about who? The Spanish, the Dutch, and the Portuguese.
Right.
And they were slave masters.
That's right. And look where they were arriving. In the Caribbean islands. You would have thought the brother Aharon wrote this right before we got in this class, man. You see this? They telling on themselves.
Yeah.
And what does they say right there? Y'all seen that sign right there? Negroes.
That's right.
Not Africans.
That's right.
Not anything else but Negroes.
They know who you are, man. All right? Look at this. Yo, I could spend 10 days on this document, and we're not going to, unfortunately. They go through Reconstruction. The Reconstruction era. So this is the folly of y'all who vote Democrat, right? During the Reconstruction era, what is Reconstruction? Following the Civil War, the nation was destroyed. So Abraham Lincoln and his successor, they decided to start. I think it was I can't remember who it was, but Abraham Lincoln and his successor, after he was assassinated, they started a Reconstruction era to where they were going to rebuild the southern states. But what they did was they pardoned all of those war generals that was in the rebel army and put them back in the government. Yeah. And that's where Jim Crow laws came from.
Crazy.
So the people who tell you Abraham Lincoln freed the slaves, really? Did he?
Nope. And then a lot of times with the slaves that were free, all they do was just arrest them and send them back, as prisoners for sale.
Correct. Absolutely right. And then some of them ended up being indentured servants after the emancipation. Why? Because they didn't know, they couldn't own their own land. They were not used to having that type of power. And that's kind of where we find ourselves now. Like, our people ain't used to having power and infrastructure. So we're not building nothing. We're not trying to build nothing. All right? Look at this.
Andrew Johnson, just to put that out there. Andrew Johnson.
That's right. Andrew Johnson was the successor to Abraham Lincoln. All right. And then you can look up the radical Republicans. These are the guys who were in favor of helping black people with Reconstruction. But you voted for the Democrats, who happened to be the rednecks who wanted to keep your ass in slavery.
Yeah, people don't know. Most of the Ku Klux Klan was basically founded by Democrats.
It was Democrats.
If you look at the founding of the Republican Party, that was by and large our people.
If you think about it, the Ku Klux Klan didn't even. My bad, Slakia.
No, go.
Ku Klux Klan didn't even start in the South.
Correct.
If you think about it, if I'm not mistaken, it started in like Illinois or Indiana or something like that.
That's right.
Up in the Midwest, which would have been a Union state. You know what I'm saying?
But let Joe Biden tell, if you don't vote Democrat or for him, you ain't black.
Hey, and that's partially true, because our people so stupid that they only vote Democrat.
Oh God.
That's the cut, right? That's the cut. Y'all let Obama get out of office and y'all didn't force him to do nothing for you. The white man not doing nothing for you now. You can give that up. You let a black man get in office and he ain't do nothing for you, a so-called black man, white man ain't doing nothing for you. You can give that up. Yeah. All right.
And believe a so-called black woman ain't doing nothing for you either.
Yeah, they're not going to, but the gay people gonna get everything they need, man.
Yo, real quick, Salakia, I gotta say this. I don't know if real fast, if anybody's seen the what's been coming out more about not Thurgood. What's the judge name in Supreme Court, the black dude, Thomas.
Oh, you're talking about the current Supreme Court justice?
He been a justice for 30, 40 years now. Clarence Thomas. Yeah, have y'all heard about the stuff that's been happening?
Bring it up.
It's something's going on where they had investigated that attack on Washington, and his wife, who was a Edomite woman, had came up. Matter of fact, we got to do a report on this. I ain't gonna dive too much into this right now. We're gonna do a lesson on this. But his wife's name came up in that report. You know what I'm saying? And he passed some kind of law, or was like one of the votes to like dismiss the actions that they was going to take to go against to unseal Trump's records.
Right.
But let's deal with that another time.
Yeah, God. Because look,
he's also a Republican.
So I want to show you something, right? That's interesting that you say that, because our people are lost, man. And this is the proof. All right. So this man right here, his name is Ngugi wa Thiong'o, right? And in his book, he has a book. It's right here. It's called Decolonizing the Mind. Once again, we said we coming with the receipts. It's called Decolonizing the Mind. Let me tell you what he says. All right. He gonna give you the blueprint for any post-colonial nation, and he's going to tell you something about each one of those post-colonial nations. You tell me if this fits us or not. All right. So it says the imperialist tradition, people who want to uphold the status quo, right? We would call them the Clarence Thomases. We would call them the what's that black chick who told LeBron?
Who you talking about? The new judge?
Nah, the black. No. The black chick who told LeBron to shut up and not the black chick. The black chick who we always talking about. Dang, I can't remember. And she be saying some off stuff.
Oh, the little
Candace Owens.
Candace Owens.
Candace, yeah.
Okay, the Candace Owens, the Tommy Sotomayers, all of these people.
Jesse
the Coons. The
Coons is what we call them, right? Mm-hmm. Now check this out. The imperialist tradition in Africa is today maintained by the bourgeoisie, using the multinational and, of course, flag-waving native ruling classes. The economic and political dependence of the African neo-colonial bourgeoisie is reflected in its culture and apemanship and parity enforced on a restrictive population through police boots, barbed wire, and the judiciary. What did he say in English? In order for them to maintain the status quo, they're going to put people in place who think like the coon slave used to think. And he's going to propagate the ideas that the white man used to propagate so that when the black people go to vote, they vote for the black guy who acts like the white man want him to act. That's the blueprint. That's the blueprint. So you sitting back thinking you won. Yo, I got a black president. Yo, I got a black congressman. Yo, I got a black this and that and the third. Meanwhile, all of these people are basically printed out of a mold. That's the only way they got there. And they uphold the status quo. That's why 100 years later, we still having the same freedom struggles that our people was trying to have back then.
So, Laki, I got a precept.
Huh.
This was the book of John, chapter 11, and I'm going to read 47 and 48. Then gathered the chief priests and the Pharisees and council and said, what do we? For this man doeth many miracles. So you see right there, this is the elite. These are the bourgeoisie. These are the top people. Say, look, we got to do something about this because Yahushua coming on the scene. He doing miracles. He kind of messing up our flow of things. You know what I mean? Verse 48. If we let him thus alone, all men will believe on him, and the Romans shall come and take away both our place and nation. So you see right there, because they were lifted up by the Romans. They said, listen, they gonna mess up Creflo Dollar Church ain't gonna be getting the members.
Hey, that's right.
You know what I mean? So that happened to Yahushua. And so and we know if a servant is not above the master, so if it happened to him, is it crazy that we the Israelites and it's happening to us?
Correct.
Hey, it happened during the time of the Maccabees, man. They couldn't wait to go meet up with, you know what I'm saying, the Greeks and try to make a deal with them. You know what I mean? It always happens, man.
That's right.
Matter of fact, all right, I got a precept for that. This is the book of 2 Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 15. Not setting by the honors of their fathers, but liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 14 so you get the context of who it's talking about.
That's right. That
the priests had no courage to serve any more at the altar. Now, we know if you understand Israelite culture, your priests, they ran the show. You know, our temple was the epicenter of our, of our culture. And so as the priest, you are in the head position to run the nation and do your will so that way we function properly, right? So it says that the priests had no courage to serve anymore at the altar, but despising the temple and neglecting the sacrifices, hastened to be partakers of the unlawful allowance in the place of exercise. After the game of discus called them forth. Now look, so that's what we're talking about. It's talking about the priests. It's talking about the people, your cultural leaders at that time, right? Not setting by the honors of their fathers, because mind you, it's an honorable thing to come into the culture of our fathers. You know, that's why I say ask for the old past, stand in the way, ask for the old past, right? But liking the glory of the Grecians best of all. Even since back in the time of the Maccabees, so listen, we rather be like you Greeks, the Greek freaks. And we do that today. Instead of actually coming back to our law, statutes, commandments, or instead of just even reading a book about who you are, you rather go put on a suit and tie, go coon for Jim Bob.
That's hey, read First Maccabees 1 and 11.
Great evils multiplied on the earth.
Nah.
All right. So this I'm in Second Maccabees. Salakia. All right. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11. Okay. In those days, there went out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow."
So, man, our own people, man, even today, have implemented themselves in the Psalms 83. You can put Israel in that list of people who want to cut Israel off from being a nation. You can put our own people in that list. They can't wait to give their righteousness or their blessing over to another nation, man. They want to be disregarded for favor from Pharaoh, favor from Antiochus, favor from Rome, favor from the church. You know what I'm saying? Favor from the president or the FBI or the CIA.
That's right.
Because that's what they do today.
That's right.
Favor for the police department, snitches and everything, infiltrators. Some people right now in your camp.
Hey, that's right.
Hey, that's man, talk about it, man.
That's right. That's the weak and the tear.
Act like you down when really you just in this thing following a man. And when the man actually have to put order or do something that you don't like, you flip the script on him.
Right. Right. And that's why we got to be all the more diligent, Israel. You know, we serving the Lord, but at the same time, well, we always serving the Lord. Ain't no but at the same time. We serving the Lord, and at the same time, we need to be diligent and we need to be watchful because the enemy has sown wheat among the tares, or tares among the wheat. All right. This section right here, just really quickly, they already knew that unemployment was a problem for the black man. Look at this. Thus, upgrading the employment of Negro men to make their occupational distribution identical with that of the labor force as a whole would have an immense impact on the nature of their occupations. They already knew that. They already knew, hey, if we create jobs in their neighborhoods, that's going to change everything. Because now they're going to have wealth. And then once they have wealth, then they can start building businesses. Once they have businesses, then they can start providing for their children. All right? They already understood this. All of these things are documented in this document. I'm going to go ahead and be done with this document now. I'm going to let the brother go into what he has, but we're going to systematically show you how the government knows. They know how to help you and they know how to hurt you, and they chose to hurt you, man.
Yo, real quick before Aaron get in there.
God.
I'm not going to be too long. Just to let me back on what you just said, Jonathan. When my moms grew up around the 60s, I think I had a conversation with you about this, and I had a conversation recently. Like around in the 60s, when you graduated from high school, you used to be able to get a license in plumbing, electrical, different things. They had technical high schools back in the day. I know a lot of brothers is young, I might not know this.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They had technical high schools back in the day where you can come out fully certified as an auto mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Fully certified. You don't have to go into any school. You go right to work. Or, because, coming out from the South, a lot of times we went to the Midwest where they started building up these plants where you can literally go and work at a plant, and that'll be your whole job and your whole career. And you make more money or better money than a lot of other people.
Absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? And then just like what you just said, they systematically started taking all of those programs out of the high schools, out of the schools, And then they also systematically started closing down the plants in your area. Look at Detroit. Look at I don't want Maya Kaya know what I'm talking about. Look at Michigan. A great big our communities that we had all types of plants out there.
Yeah,
Hey, that's right. Industrial city. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now you come through there, man. It's like a war zone.
That's right. And look, that goes in. That's absolutely right. That goes into the evils that the so-called white man has chosen to take care of these corporations over the people that live in their own nation.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They will, because Ford can now ship their jobs and offshore their jobs, and they can offshore 10,000 jobs over to damn Bangladesh and save money by doing so, and escape taxes by doing so.
Right.
That killed all the jobs in the inner city for those people in Detroit.
Mm-hmm. Yo, a precept, just to throw in there, talking about them being Confederate. You know what I'm saying? The book of Psalms, chapter 62 and verse 4. It says, they only consult to cast him down from his excellency. They delight in lies. They bless with their mouth, but they curse inwardly. Yo, if you take this, and I know we got a lot of information, so I'm going to be real quick. If you take this all the way back into the Red Summer, and we talked about this not too long ago.
Hey, that's right.
The downfall of Tulsa, Oklahoma, the downfall of Washington and Rosewood, and all the way back into like the night right after World War I, back in the early 1920s. You know what I'm saying? If you take it all the way back then, we was thriving in certain communities because we had two major explosions out of the South.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? We was coming up in the North, building up communities and thriving.
Absolutely.
They was getting jealous of us because we had dentists and doctors and tradesmen. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? We would call them to do work in our homes, and they'd be like, "Yo, you got grand pianos and this, that, and the third." You know, I'm getting jealous.
And not only that, we had swag with it. We had all the stuff.
As we always do.
And matter of fact, that's for y'all. Just a reminder: if you're just getting on, please go to the link in the description and reference the video. Reference both, but right now it pertains to the video "Selling the Negro," which came out in 1954, which is basically how they systematically tried to disenfranchise us economically. You know, because for us that were in the trades and did have all the money and the buying power, how they say, you know what, how can we get their dollar, get them to buy our products, and at the same time devalue their own products that their people make. You know what I mean? Which caused all of the problems. And now I think it's 18 minutes the black dollar circulates within the community. I think it's something crazy like that. It's like less than an hour. Right. But and so they knew this. They said, listen, we're gonna stop them from making so much money. With the people that do got money, this is what we can do. Boom. It's called The Secrets of Selling to the Negro. Came out in 1954. And see, what that also did is that they made our people super materialistic, to where instead of, just having like a good home and like, a respectable income and, respectable clothes and all that stuff, they made it to where you got to have, the top name brands, and you got to have the next best thing, or else you're nobody. When really we should have just been building our own.
That's right. And if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. Leaving slavery, who did all the work?
Us.
Who did all the carpentry? So immediately after slavery, who would have owned the carpentry business?
Right.
Who did all the tailoring? So immediately after slavery, who would have been the tailors? Immediately after slavery, who would have been the brick masons? Do you see how quickly power changed? And that's how within 10, 15 years, we had cities. After slavery, we had cities. So, that's it's just crazy.
Man,
think about it.
Hey, yo, it's Yo, I remember because it was like 18 minutes, but I just looked it up.
Minutes, yes.
I just looked it up. Now they're saying it's 6 hours. A lot of us have more businesses now. Become more swaggy. But look, 6 hours compared to the Jewish community, which is 30 days.
Damn near a month. That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Other communities, 20 days. Ours is 6 hours. They say the buying power in our community is $1.6 trillion right now.
I think we the 14th. If the buying power of the blacks in America is would be like the 14th largest
country.
GDP. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. And guess what? You ain't even add in the Hispanic brothers from the Northern Kingdom.
Yo, man. Yeah.
Yo, we would be top 5 nations on earth just off of that alone.
That's a fact.
And then, but you also got to think about it like this. Some of that money ain't fair. Some of that money is not being distributed fairly because guess what? People watch TV to watch the NFL and watch the NBA, and white people get paid off of that, but black people doing the work.
Mm-hmm.
So if they was to really figure those numbers, we really already make most of the money of America anyway. Absolutely. And it's always been like that.
Because we make them rich. So
that's right. That's right. Did you want me to pull up that other document you had? The one.
I'm ready.
Okay, Khan, go ahead.
All right.
That's right. Y'all, I told you we coming with the receipts, Israel. Y'all put a 7 in the chat, man. Hey, let us know. Because this is the thing about it, right? The time is up. The time is up for Esau and his games and trying to act like this stuff didn't happen. We don't give a damn about your feelings, Esau.
Mm-hmm.
We don't care about your feelings. You talking about your kid gonna grow up with a low self-esteem. What about Trika that grew up with a low self-esteem because her parents was on drugs and they never had nothing? What about that? So ain't nobody care about that. We don't care about your children. All praises.
So right here, this is a document of the Christian black codes that were given out in 1724. So I'll just show you the Christian black codes of 1724 were initiated during Reconstruction after Civil War to control blacks after they were emancipated. Passed by the southern states instead of giving blacks the same rights as white people, the codes limited the blacks' freedom severely. Okay, so this is essentially these are laws or rules to kind of govern how we should be treated or what we could do. Now, 7 pages long. I implore you to get all of this / just wait because brothers, it's gonna be stuff made available for you. So just wait. So I'll just read just these 2 right here. I mean these 3. Article 8. We forbid all curates to process to affect marriages between slaves without the proof of the consent of their master. So you see right there, that's right there. The master had to sanction and create the marriages that we were allowed to have. No, you can't, you know what I'm saying, marry for love or do something like that. I guess there were certain instances in which people could go to the master and say, hey, I love this person, allow me to marry, and maybe so, maybe not. But we know a lot of time what was happening, because that's prominent in their culture, is prima nocturna, you know, and we know prima nocturna is basically the right of first night, and it's shown in some movies in which a lot of times the master said, all right, well, you want to marry her, that first night, she mine, buddy. I get to sleep with her. I get to do whatever my will with her. That first night, she is mine. So a lot of times, go ahead.
Deuteronomy 28 and 30. It says, thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
And what?
Thou shalt build a house, and another shall dwell therein.
So you see right there, even that house is twofold. So obviously, you know, building a physical house and that should happen, but also we know the house, like we had the house of Aharon, the house of Jonathan, the house of a person has to do with their familiar structure. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times they're dwelling in it. Why? Because they decided how it's gonna go. They're gonna separate your family. Half the time you could be raising one of his children. That's because you can't kill your wife because he'll kill you, and because both of y'all are his property, right?
Mm.
So you see, this is one of the articles, Article 9. Children issued from the marriage of slaves shall follow the condition of their parents and shall belong to the master of the wife and not of the
Precept.
husband. Go ahead.
Precept. Deuteronomy 28:41. Thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them.
Come.
They shall go into captivity.
Come. So if the husband and the wife have different masters, so this is off the bat right there. So if a slave master allows you to take a wife or sanctions a marriage, that's cool. But you know what? Off the bat, you're not going with your father. You're gonna know, especially if they're different. We're gonna keep you separate from a strong black man that may be inclined to protect you. You know what? We're gonna take you with the feeble woman. Why? Because she's already more than likely she's subservient and she's gonna teach you to be the same way. You know what I mean? Now, just to go on here, if the father be free and the mother is a slave, then the children shall be slaves. So you see right there, in no instances did they want you to be with your father. You know what I mean? That's not what they wanted at all. And I'll read this. I'm gonna bring a precept out with this. This is the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse 2. And I'll just read it since I got it up real quick. Salakia. Okay, so listen. I'll start at actually 2 and 1.
I got you.
All right. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. Now, when you devise something, you're devising a plan. You're thinking about how you can implement that. And you work evil upon your beds. That means you waiting, sitting up thinking, how can I hunt these things? What can I do? You know what I mean? It's something that you dwell upon in your resting part. That's why the scriptures say, listen, you learn in the opportunity of leisure, you know, because when you kind of just hanging out, this is when you get to learn and practice something. This is what they practicing, right? At morning's light, they accomplish it because the power is in their hands. Now, we know the power of this earth is given to the hand of the wicked. You understand? And so what do they do? The next verse 2. They covet fields. So we're gonna go into that a little later. Sure, you can look at Andrew Jackson, who stole millions of acres of land from the Northern Kingdom, and they steal millions of land from us, still to this day, right? And take them by violence. If you look at the genocide that was done to, it's like 77 million people, Native Americans here in North America, and 24 million in Central and South America. And that field was taken by violence. So they had to literally kill like 100 million people just to bring a few more people over here to put them into slavery, right? And houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, and even a man and his heritage. You understand? So this is what they were doing. They're oppressing your house and your heritage. They do that today. And I think it's such in the spirit of what's going on today. A hot topic is that it has to do with abortion, right? And we're gonna get since that's the Christian Black codes, I'm gonna get I'll get this one. And shout out, I have to give credit where it was due to our other one, Shawapar, who brought out this article today. I thought it would be great to bring it out on the Clubhouse, Chronothorans house on Kosher Breakfast. Everyone, if you can, on Clubhouse, please follow that house. There's a lot of great information coming out there. So we brought out to you Lyndon B. Johnson. Right now, this is another president you might have heard of, is Richard Nixon. Okay, now this right here, the name of this article is called what? The effects of abortion on the Black community. Because we saw that they are oppressing a man and his heritage. But mind you, we want to show from the top down, not just your boss. Your boss is the byproduct of the systematic racism. They worse than that. They bigger than that. Okay. So I'm gonna bring out some quotes from Richard Nixon. As I told you, and we talked about it earlier, that a hell of a lot of people want to control the Negro bastards. Now, we know bastard is used in a derogatory term, but let's look at what it means literally. Okay. Now we know that we are partially in that because of the curses that we just read, and by their doing. Another one, a majority of the people in Colorado voted for abortion. I think the majority of the people in Michigan are for abortion. I think that in both cases, well, certainly in Michigan, they will vote for abortion because they think that's what's going to be aborted. Generally, are the little black bastards. You understand? Because we know about the eugenics movement. And if you don't, please refer to the other documentary that was in the description called Ma'afa 21. It's about a 2.5 hour documentary that will go completely into eugenics, which is essentially like population control, but it's to kind of to purge out, it's like ethnic cleansing, if you will. All right.
Hey, Salakia. I titled it wrong in the description. I titled it Black Genocide, but that's the same video he's talking about right now.
It's right here. It's Ma'afa 21. This is it. Ma'afa 21. All right. Where am I? All right. So you see right here now. Did you know? I don't know if people did, but in Planned Parenthood, you can call and donate to kill a specific ethnic group. There's a recording of people of a man was calling because he wanted to see if he could do it. He said, "Hey." He called Planned Parenthood. He said, "I'm donating this money, but I wanted to kill a black baby. Can you make sure it is a black child?" And she said, "Yes, we can absolutely do that. I got you." And they did that. So you see right there, the general consensus is that abortion would primarily impact us. That's why Planned Parenthood and all the eugenics, methods are targeted towards us and in our community, right?
Right.
As I told you, we talked about it earlier, that a hell of a lot of people want to control the Negro bastards. We're talking about population control. You see?
That's
now, right. This is a bunch of this now.
Hey, who started this Planned Parenthood thing?
Margaret Sanger.
And she was if I'm not mistaken, then she started this specifically targeting our people.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
It's been a big thing going on now about a lot of different states because they're passing or they got Roe versus Wade up to vote again, and they're trying to Texas and a lot of other people are passing laws to go against abortions and things of that nature. Why are they doing this? You ever thought about this? All this time we was running to the abortion clinic, they didn't give a damn. But what's happening is their own people are drinking from that cup.
There you go.
And their population has been dropping.
Hey, and Salakia, isn't that prophecy as well? Aren't they prophesied to fall by the same destruction that they plan for us? And it happens over and over. It happens over and over. It happened with the crack epidemic. It happened with
opioid. Yep.
That's right. It happened with hip hop music. Right. You got little Jimmy want to sag his pants now, get a bunch of tattoos, and be in and out of prison. It's backfiring.
And I believe it's in 17 different states. The population of the white race, they're dying more than they're procreating. I think I read that in an article, right? So just quickly to show this. All right. Now, mind you, the documentary Ma'afa 21 goes into all of this. It is perfectly crafted. Please watch it. Okay. It is no accident that abortion has become so deeply entrenched within the Black community. Margaret Sanger, the founder of the American birth control movement, was a leading spokesperson and activist in the promotion of controlling the birth rate among Blacks and others she considered genetically inferior, which is stupid because any genetic scientist or geneticist will tell you that we are genetically superior. I mean, just look what happens in the sun. Anyway, an avid supporter of eugenics, Sanger became a formidable force when pushing her Negro project, designed to employ Black leaders to promote first birth control and later abortion as viable options for family planning. How is it family planning? You planning to kill, you ain't killing the family. How is it family planning?
Yeah. Well, it's a plan. It's a plan for a family. Planned Parenthood. I plan to tear down your family.
God.
You know what I'm saying? I'm making a plan for the destruction of the black and the black Latino, you know what I'm saying, family.
God. Now,
hey, I got a precept.
Go ahead.
Salaki, not to break your thoughts, but
go.
Psalms 37 and 14.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And it says, the wicked have drawn out the sword and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and needy, and to slay such as be of upright conversation. Their sword shall enter into their own heart, and their bows shall be broken. Hey, they can plan all of this. What did the scripture say in Genesis 12 and 3? It said, I will bless those who bless thee and curse those who curse thee, man.
Absolutely.
I got a precept to back up that precept also. Book Isaiah chapter 59 verse 7. It says, their feet run to evil. They make haste to shed innocent blood. And that's what they're doing, man. They gave you a path and an option to shed innocent blood. It said their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity, wasting and destruction are in their past. The way of peace they know not, and there is no judgment in their goings. They have made them crooked paths. Whosoever goeth therein shall not know peace. This is what they set in front of you, man. A path to destruction. We followed them in religion. We followed them in education. We followed them in finance because we put all of our finances and all of our hopes in them. We follow them in the destruction of our own children. You know how I relate this to, where it says we would almost eat the fruit of our children. You know what I'm talking about? The fruits of our bodies in Deuteronomy 28.
That's right.
That's what I know. This is talking about the siege when we was literally eating our children. But that's what happens today when we put our children through abortion or you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
When we on drugs and some people have forced children to become prostitutes for their own financial gain. It's just eating the fruit of your own body. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Absolutely. And Salaki, Ottawa, can you please get me the book of Psalms, chapter 55, 20 and 21?
Book of Psalms, chapter 55.
Now, mind you, you see, now this is called family planning, and they're doing this to, reduce the birth rate amongst the diseased, the sickly, the poverty-stricken, the antisocial classes, elements unable to provide for themselves, and the burden of which we are all forced to carry. So they're making it seem like they're doing you a favor. You know what? It's going to be hard raising those kids because we systematically are oppressing you, and we don't like you. So now you're going to bring more children that we're going to make it hard for. Don't worry about it. Just kill them. Acting like they're doing us a favor. Now, if you got that, go ahead and read that.
The book of Psalm 55 and 20. He have put forth his hand against such as be at peace with him. He have broken.
Now you see that. Now, when we got out of slavery, and this is, I guess, you can say whether this is to our detriment or not. But when we got out of slavery, we weren't trying to destroy the white man. We weren't trying to burn this place down like probably he would have done if it was reversed. All we wanted to do is build our families, you know what I mean, and earn an honest living and, just kind of make it.
That's right.
And what happened? And what do they do? Those that be at peace with them? He put forth his hand, okay? And so you see, and now mind you, this ain't a handshake. Now we know what it says about the handshake, but this is, right. He put forth his hand for those that be at peace with him because that's his action. He put his action against to destroy those that are trying to be cool with him, and that's us. Right. Shit, you vote for him. You vote for him so he can destroy you, right? And what happens? Go ahead. Can you finish that verse?
He have broken his covenant.
Man, one of y'all, please tell me, how many of the covenants, how many treaties did Esau keep with Gad?
Man, I don't know of any.
0.
It can't be any at this point.
Zero. He's literally broken every single treaty that he has had with Gad to stop destroying them and just treat them better and stop being damn wicked. You know what I mean? And so right there, go ahead, verse 21, please.
Khan, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter,
Smoother
but
than butter.
war was in his heart.
Now you see right there, because this eugenics and this is war. Esau know what he's doing. He's not playing. He's not playing. You know what I'm saying? He's playing for keeps. You understand? Because this is war. Because they know that they are losing. They are losing the population, and just politically they can see people. The jig is up. The Most High said, you know what? They the end of the world, and we the beginning of that. We're coming after. That's why they can't stop this truth. You know what I mean? And just like right here, Margaret Sanger acting like she's doing you a favor, but it's war in her heart. And if you actually go into this document and actually or read Mafa 21, you'll see the war that's against us. You know what I'm saying? It's systematic, right? Go ahead.
God. His words were softer than oil, yet were they drawn swords.
So you see right there, man, they sit up here and they try to tell you that they got something for you, but they're trying to kill you. And what was bad is that they use your people to do it. And I'm not gonna go into all this because but go ahead.
No, that's heavy. I don't want to cut your thought, but you said something that was crazy, right? This is Esau's blueprint. We saw this from the beginning of the story of Esau. Did he not bargain with Jacob and tell him he was going to give him his birthright? Did he not tell Jacob, what use is this birthright to me? Right? After he did that, was he then going to let Jacob get that blessing?
No, he went and cried to his father.
That's right. That was never his plan. He was like, "What you mean? He got my blessing?" But he had forgotten that he already promised Jacob that he could have that.
Yo, if the Most High didn't work through his moms to make everything, to make the coat of wool, to do everything like he did, he would have got that blessing and never said nothing.
That's right. He would have never brought that back up. Hey, remember, you were supposed to have his birthright. He would have never said that. Why? He acted like he was cool with Jacob, and when the time came, he was ready. And then when he found out Jacob took his birthright, what did he say? As soon as my father dies, I shall kill this man. So we got to understand who we dealing with. From the beginning of his story, he been the same. All right? Hey, Salakia. Hey, make your point on that, Ak. Let's go into the Northern Kingdom so we can hit that next point.
All right. Well, look. Israel, look at this. Go into this, man, or just wait. It'll be available. We can go in the Northern Kingdom right now.
All
right.
So, yo, it's so much information on this topic, yo.
That's right.
I'm kind of like staying quiet because brothers got so much information, man.
Right.
All right. Well, see, I'll just read this real quick. So now, mind you, Andrew Jackson is on your $20 bill. Them dubs that you use to poison yourself. Sometimes, you know what I mean? That's who's on your $20 bill. And what is he known for? He is known for the Indian Removal Act, right? So one of the things he did, like I said, he ceded 23 million acres of creek land in present-day Georgia and Alabama in the United States. This is the article written by the Huffington Post. But if you really go into what Andrew Jackson did, he's probably got one of the most. He probably got some of the most blood on his name. If you actually look into and look into the Indian Removal Act of 1830, man, because they destroyed the Northern Kingdom.
Yo, run through a few things real quick. What was he responsible for?
All right, so he removed 46,000 citizens of the Choctaw Creek, Seminole Creek, and Chickasaw nations from their homeland, and forced them to march 1,000 miles on the Trail of Tears.
Y'all heard of that before? Yo, this is the dude who was responsible for the Trail of Tears, man.
Right.
The dude who you got in your pocket right now. I know you got a dub in your pocket. That dude.
Right.
Now, mind you, he did that so he could have room to enslave Judah. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
Anybody can go and look at this website. There's plenty of books on this and the Trail of Tears on Andrew Jackson, man. There's plenty of it. But I'll stop sharing my screen. I know brothers got stuff to pull out too.
Hey, all praises. So look, just to stay on the topic of the Northern Kingdom, right? Let me go ahead and share this. Because like we said, we got the receipts for you. The brother going in over here, man. Brother Aharon going in. Right? Now look at this. This is from the Smithsonian Magazine. Semi-reputable source, right? Look what it says here. From 1670 to 1720, more Indians, Native Americans, were shipped out of Charleston, South Carolina than Africans were imported as slaves. So y'all stop the madness saying that the Native Americans wasn't in the slave trade. Y'all stop the madness.
Bring that out.
I just wanted to bring that out real quick. But this is my point that I want to get into, right? Because we talking about the systematic destruction of the black and brown families. And yo, you can't get away. What did they do here? So Esau created boarding schools. And I'm gonna read this briefly and then I'm gonna jump over to their own website that they created. It says the boarding school experience for Indian children began in 1860 when the Bureau of Indian Affairs established the first Indian boarding school on the Yakima Indian Reservation in the state of Washington. These schools were a part of a plan devised by well-intentioned East Reformers Herbert Walsh and Henry Pancoast, who also helped establish organizations such as the Board of Indian Commissioners, Boston Indian Citizenship, blah, 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 right? Now watch this. This is the point. I want you, get the definition of Hellenization on your phone real quick. Boarding schools were the ideal instrument for absorbing people and ideologies that stood in the way of manifest destiny. Boarding schools were the ideal instrument for absorbing people and ideologies that stood in the way of manifest destiny. Who was standing in the way of manifest destiny? The Native Americans. Because they was minding a damn business. And they was in the white man's way. So the white man said, what? We can't get rid of all of them at the same time. It's too difficult. Plus, they'll fight back and they outnumber us. So what we'll do is this. We'll make all these false treaties, right? We'll start removing them far from their borders. But then, after they did that, they instituted this. Now, they created this thing called boarding schools. Now, I want the brother to read the definition of Hellenization. We're going to show you a modern-day version of Hellenization if you've never seen it.
Now, you want the Hellenization definition, or you want Hellene in the Greek?
No, I want Hellenization.
You want it in English?
Yep, in English, my friend.
To become Greek or Hellenistic, to make Greek or Hellenistic in form or culture.
Okay, to make Greek or Hellenistic in form or culture. Do you know what the boarding schools were set up for? Because they wanted to civilize the Native American and teach.
That's how you know these are the same people, bro.
That's how you know.
That's how you know.
Yo, they wanted to make you act like the white man so that you would flip your resource. Didn't we read that earlier in this book right here? They want to make you act like them so that now, even when you have the power, you will still perform the same things that they would have done.
Man.
Yo, I got something real quick, right? And I know we talking about Northern Kingdom, but I just want to add something to the mix real quick. This comes from the book of the Jews and Moors in Spain. And I don't want to get too far away from that point that you made, because They just like a year or two ago uncovered a whole mass grave in Canada for our Northern Kingdom brother, little children. You know what I'm saying? Who got ripped from their parents and brought into a school.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if he was gonna get on that, but the point that they've been doing this is a point that I want to bring out too in this book. This is page 100. So I'm gonna read from down at the bottom on page 100. It says, all Jewish children below 14 years of age were torn from their parents' arms, dragged into the church, baptized. Those under 3 years of age were given to Christians to receive a Christian education, or in other words, to be raised as slaves. Those between 3 and 10 years of age were put on a board of a ship, put on board of a ship, and conveyed to the newly discovered unwholesome island of St. Thomas called Ilhas Perdidas, the Isles of Perdition, which was colonized by Portuguese condemned criminals to fare there as best as they could. Those between 10 and 14 years were sold as slaves. So this is just another example of them ripping our children from out of our hands and indoctrinating them and sending them away to be taught by our oppressors.
Absolutely right.
And man, another Northern Kingdom reference. Now you see, they always talk like they do this to us too, that they're civilizing us, that people were savages and just basically going off, all because we wasn't a part of their culture. We weren't Hellenized. You know what I mean? And just to prove that that's some bullshit, that's felonious, I'll say. I'm gonna read this right here in Hernan Cortez. Now, people know who Hernan Cortez. He led the Spanish Inquisition. He was the main conquistador, right? And this what I'm reading is a personal note that he in a letter that he wrote when he came over here and he saw what the Northern Kingdom was doing over here. And tell me that this sounds like he describing some savages that need to be Hellenized or put in a boarding school, right? It says, most powerful Lord, in order to give an account to your royal excellency of the magnificence, the strange and marvelous things of this great city, of the dominion and wealth of this Montezuma, its ruler, and of the rights and customs of the people, and of the order there is in the government of the capital, as well as in the other cities of Montezuma's dominions, I will need much time and many expert narrators. I cannot describe 100th part of all the things which could be mentioned, but as best as I can, I will describe some of those things which I've seen, which, although badly described, I well know be so remarkable as not to be believed. For we who saw them with our own eyes cannot grasp them with our understanding. And that's a direct quote from Hernan Cortez. That's in another book, a sleeper book. I gotta wait to pull it out.
So they was living good, man. He couldn't even explain how good these people were living.
Right.
You know, so they had too much.
And he said the order that in the structure, and then in that same book is other excerpts when he said, "Listen, it's been people that in radio with me from Constantinople, Istanbul, all everything over there, and none of us have seen anything like what we see here." So what are they?
Hey,
what's
the point of
the boarding schools and the Hellenization? Not because you're savages, not because you wouldn't do well for yourself, but because he wants you to get on his program and take from you.
Correct.
Yeah. The excuses. What did they have? Manifest destiny. You heard of that?
Yeah.
Civilized the uncivilized. It's another thing too that they have.
It's right here. Kill the Indian. Kill the Indian. Kill the Indian. Save the man.
Yo, it's crazy.
Exactly, and that's the mind state that these people have. Anywhere they go, they're not looking to allow you to continue your culture. So let's get Psalms 83, right? Mm-hmm. Let's get Psalms 83 because we got to understand what their counsel is, and we bring this out all the time. If you don't know this by now, this got to be your first Israelite video.
This is the book of Psalms, chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thy silence, O God, hold not thy peace. And be not still, O God, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Come on.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Come on.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Now, what's one way of doing that? What's one way of doing that? One way of doing that is separating you from your land, separating you from your heritage, forcing you to learn their ways, separating the children from the parents, teaching the children something totally different than what the parents would have ever taught them, all the way to the point that when the children goes back home, they can't even recognize the culture of the parents no more. And they're like, yo, why y'all doing all this strange stuff and wearing all these clothes? That's the purpose of the boarding school. All right. So check this out real quick.
You don't even need a boarding school no more. That's the purpose of the law. You have to go into school and be taught by the education one way or another. You got to pass. Right. Even if you be homeschooled, you got to pass their tests.
That's right.
To be able to get the degrees and everything.
That's right. Look what this brother said. Black man now has a European name. And see, look, when we read the scriptures, you might have a brother named Timothy. You might have a brother named Simon. You might have a brother named Thelonious. These names are not our names, right? All the way through our history, this has happened. Check this out. It said the schools, talking of the boarding schools, right? They would quickly be able to assimilate Indian youth. Hellenization. The first priority of the boarding school would be to provide the rudiments of academic education. So we know what that means. They're teaching you lies. Reading, writing, and speaking the English language, arithmetic, science, history, and the arts will be added to the open possibility of discovering the self-directing power of thought. Now let's think about something real fast before I hit these numbers. Let's think about something. Is it smart to take a people that you just got done destroying and teach them anything? That's not even smart. Let's just keep it 100. If I was them, I wouldn't have taught you nothing, right? But you're gonna tell me that these schools were set up so you could teach us the right thing? No, they was teaching you how to be a good slave, how to run your damn money out on the reservation, so that all day now all you do is just sit there and drink all day. Right? That's what they wanted you to do, and they successfully did it. All right? Look what it says. By the 1880s, the U.S. operated 60 schools for 6,000 Indian students, including reservation day schools and reservation boarding schools. The reservation day school had the advantage of being relatively inexpensive and caused the least opposition from parents. Right? It says, kill the Indian, save the man, right? This was the idea. And so what I want to show you is this. Not too far from here, in a place that was not even considered the South, right? In Philadelphia, where they say a lot of slaves actually tried to escape to go to because white people were so good in Philadelphia, right? Well, let's see how good they were in Philadelphia. In 1879, he established the most well-known of the off-reservation boarding schools, the Carlisle Indian School in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. All right? Now, check this out. Boom. These are pictures from the Carlisle website, which is still up today. And they still have the documentation. They got the receipts. Esau loved telling on himself. He's so wicked, he do his wickedness in the open, and then he records it and tells on himself. Look at all these faces. All of those people were separated from their family, man. All of them. Carlisle, by the numbers, it was 39 years of operation. On the site of the school is still to this day 186 graves of the children who died while attending. So they was taken from their parents and they never came back. They might have got a knock on the door like, yo, he ain't coming back. Or they might have got a letter. Who knows? They might have got no communication. Right? Over 140 tribes were assimilated here. Wow. Imagine the stories we could have of our ancestors Imagine the research that we could be able to do into our ancestry just by having this information. But they took that from us.
Mm-hmm.
Hundreds of boarding schools. Look at this. Hundreds of boarding schools, both private and government run. Once again, your government was behind this. And what happens is this. We vote for these people, and 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years later, we find out what they did. I had a conversation recently, and the person was saying, yo, that's why you got to hold your congressman accountable. You don't have time to hold him accountable. You don't have the money to hold him accountable. You don't have the dollars that Walmart has to go lobby in Washington. You don't have the dollars that Verizon has to go lobby in Washington and make sure that their bills get passed. You don't have the dollars that AIPAC has in Washington. You know who AIPAC is?
Man.
Let me show you one more thing, man. Yo, this is what I'm saying, man. You don't have the dollars that these people have, man. Look who AIPAC is.
Organizations.
AIPAC, American Israel Public Affairs Committee. You don't have their money. I promise you. Some of their people sit on the board for the Federal Reserve. You don't have their dollars.
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
And guess what? When they lobby in Washington, stuff get done. So I'm just saying, like, why we playing this game like we gonna be able to play the political game with Esau?
Yo, I got just a precepts on what you was just bringing out a minute ago. That last point you said was heavy, but just to go back, the classic precept in Deuteronomy 28 and 32, it says, "Thy sons and thy daughters shall be given unto another people, and thine eyes shall look and fail with longing for them all the day long, and there shall be no might in their hands."
That's right.
And thine hands, Salakia. That's a big problem with us, man. And the Bible brought it out too with the mass incarceration agenda, not just for us, but for our Northern Kingdom brothers also. You know what I'm saying? Our children have been brought up and being taught a certain ideology and a certain way of thought. You know what I'm saying? They have been pushing it through our music, through the news, through, like, you know what I'm saying, their agenda, that this is the way to go. Correct. You know what I'm saying? Well, a lot of us don't see no hope growing up, at least for a time, didn't see no hope growing up in the hood. So they idolized the drug dealer, they idolized the gangster, they idolized the nice things that they saw. So they went after that. And what awaited for them is prison, indoctrinations, and being taken away from their parents, taken away from their foundations. You know what I'm saying? That's so right. The same thing that happened before is happening now. You know what I'm saying? Our sons and daughters are being taken away from us. You know what I'm saying? Even when you go back into the book of Joel, chapter 3 and verse 6, it says, "The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their borders." Yo, this is a recurring theme. You know what I'm saying? You try to take us away and discontinue our heritage. You know what I'm saying? Teaching them history. That word always was funny to me. History. Like, we played on that word. Is it really his story? It's always the winner's story.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
It's always the winner's story. The winner tells the story. Y'all made a point earlier too about them down south dudes. How did you rebel against your nation and then you put them back in position in government? This is a confederacy. The whole thing was called the Confederate Army. Come on, man. I get on that point.
Yo, and that's so heavy what you just said. Let's get Daniel chapter. I love bringing this out because the Lord already said this was going to happen. He said that the final kingdom was going to be partially iron and partially clay. You see what I'm saying? I believe that's.
You know, it's a curse too. Talking about brass will be over our heads.
That's right. That's right. That's chapter 2. Right. They said that the sky will be made of brass. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna press down upon you. Salakia. I don't have this. I didn't have this in my presentation. 31. Daniel 2 and 31, right? And just to gloss over that, it's talking about the nation of Babylon, and how it's the ruling power of the earth. But
I read it.
Represents the head of gold. But jump down to where it says the feet. That's what I
Yeah,
want.
you want 35, I think.
Yeah, Con.
All right, this is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 35. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass.
No, Salakia. Started. You want this? You might as well just read it down because it starts.
Yeah,
at
just read at 31. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
You might just read it down.
This is the book of Daniel, chapter 2, and verse 31. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold, a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form therefore was terrible. This image head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part clay. Thou sawest till that has
Salakia. So this is another way that we can arrive at the conclusion that Esau is the end of the world. Right? Because when you understand that Babylon was one of the first great kingdoms that destroyed Israel as a nation, and then we follow our way down that statue, all the way down the body, each one of those represented a kingdom that took Israel into captivity. Right? The final captivity is where we find ourselves now, and that's the feet. All right, come on.
Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet, that were of iron and clay, and break them to pieces.
You see that? And the stone that was cut out without hands is Mashiach Yahushua, right? That was cut out without hands. It came and smote the image at the feet. So it's going to smite Esau. Come on.
Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain and filled the whole earth.
You see that? So that's the nation of Israel taking over the earth. Now, we also understand that this is another reason why we can call Esau the daughter of Babylon. Although Esau is not the daughter of Babylonians, because they come from the same statue. They come from the same order that's against the Most High's kingdom. All right? They in that same statue. All right? And then, hey, we got to get this since we already in the precept. Let's get verse 44.
Daniel chapter 2, verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed. And the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, that it shall stand forever.
Hey, that's right, man.
God.
That's the patience and the faith of the saints, man.
Super con,
man.
Right.
I pray to be able to see that. Con, you got it. Go ahead.
A precept, man, to go which how you were talking about the boarding schools, man, because that's one thing about Esau that's a little different than all the other nations, man. When they get into power, they want to wipe out your entire culture, your history, and make you to be them. The same spirit of Nimrod, man, because we know the Most High does not like that. He likes things in order. All right. So this is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 41. I'll give brothers time to get there. All right. And it reads, moreover, King Antiochus wrote this to his whole kingdom, that all should be one people. Now we see that with what? Americans. We see that with Rome. We see that with Greek. A lot of people will tell you today on the street, man, I'm not this, I'm American. Yeah,
but they say they Catholic or Christian. In Christianity.
You know what I'm saying? So this still is going on today, man. That's what the same way Esau wanted, man. Now verse 42. And everyone should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king. So you see, they are oppressing a man and his heritage.
Yeah.
That's what they do. And matter of fact, since we on it, Second Maccabees chapter 6, and I'll just do 6 and 6, and then I'll do 6 and 9. All right. This is a book of Second Maccabees chapter 6 and verse 6. Neither was it lawful for a man to keep Sabbath days, or ancient feasts, or to profess himself at all to be a Jew. So you say it was punishable by death to even call yourself an Israelite. The same way you can't call you. We don't go by tribes, man.
Right.
Shoot, half of people who think that Judah is really Gad, and those that Gad don't know what real tribe is, and find out it's a bunch of confusion. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll read verse 9. And whoso would not conform themselves to the manners of the Gentiles should be put to death. Then might a man had seen the present misery. So you see, you had to call yourself a Greek or a Gentile. You couldn't call yourself an Israelite, which, is part of another video of the Gentiles in the New Testament, but that's another subject for another day.
Right.
Right. We see how that's replicated right now, even with these like you said, with these boarding schools, and what they did to Gad is terrible, man.
Right.
And all the Northern Kingdom, because it's a lot of resources available in Northern Kingdom that Most High willing brothers will be able to bring out.
That's right. Hey, so listen, I want to say this right before we shut it down. I know Aharon got a couple more precepts, but I wanted to say this real fast before I forget to say it. Israel, we gotta be thinking of ourselves as a nation. They did too much work to separate that from us, for us to let that slip through the cracks, and now it becomes a light thing. No, this is the number one thing they attack. They wanted to separate you from your heritage and your history. So you got to do what? You got to return to the old paths and go back to your history. This is why we bringing out these sources. Y'all got to do this research. Go into the other classes that we have on the topic, because the brothers brought out an excellent video last week on the Northern Kingdom. It was an excellent video on Tuesday, going into some good research. We need to understand this stuff. All right. They did too much work to cover it up.
And to that point, Adawan, man, listen. As somebody who know that you're Israelite, or maybe you haven't accepted it yet, but you're on that path, knowing how hard and dedicated the wicked are, how much they're dedicated to destroying you, you need to go 10 times harder. Yeah, don't let the evil people do their job better than you on the right-hand side is supposed to do your job. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Like, if you see that they're not sleeping, they're going hard, how much more should you, being on the right-hand side? You want to take a day off from this truth?
You can't afford to.
Let me tell you something, bro. I ain't want to do this lesson today. I was feeling out of it. I'm being honest. I was feeling out of it, man. But you know what I always say, man? Talking to y'all brothers, man, made me get back in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got it. This is something that I gotta do. I feel like I got it. When you feel down and you feel out of it, yo, you gotta get back in the ring, man.
Hey, that's right. You gotta push through it.
You know? Yo, it's a couple of precepts. I know Aharon about to throw something out there.
Yeah, I'm getting that. Be thou continually with a godly man who don't know to keep the commandments. So that way, when you miscarry, he got you.
All right. After that, yo, y'all do me a favor. Grab me Hosea 4:6 real quick.
No, I didn't. Where is that at? Be thou continue. I want to see this.
This is the book of Hosea, chapter 4.
Let Aharon get his precept.
No, you get that one.
All right, go ahead.
All right, Con. Book of Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge.
We destroyed for what?
A lack of knowledge.
Yo, man, they've been trying to destroy us. And how can they destroy us? Through a lack of knowledge, man. Taking us from our knowledge, taking us from our heritage, removing us from our family structure. You know what I'm saying? How many of us have been told, yo, you got a little Indian in you? You know what I'm saying? Not really knowing necessarily what tribe you from or where you stem from. You just got a mixture of slave and you don't know really what part of west coast of Africa you came from. We're lost. That knowledge has been lost. And due to that, we've been destroyed as a nation. All these other people know where they came from, know what province. And in China, they know the exact province they can track themselves down to. You know what I'm saying? But we can't. We are a lost nation. And throughout all this time, man, Lamentations 2:15, it says, all them that pass by clap their hands at thee. They hiss and wag their head at the daughter of Jerusalem, saying, is this the city that men call the perfection of beauty, the joy of the whole earth? All thine enemies have opened their mouth against thee. They hiss and gnash their teeth. They say, we have swallowed her up. Certainly this is the day that we looked for. We have found, we have seen it. They have been plotting, scheming, and planning methodically. You know what I'm saying? Lamentations 3:46 says, all our enemies have opened their mouths against us. Fear and a snare is come upon us. Desolation and destruction. Man, them snares is upon us, man. Them traps have been upon us. If we don't get this knowledge, if we don't get this understanding, you know what I'm saying? We will continue to be the valley of the dry bones. If we don't come back to the Most High, to the law, statutes, commandments, we should continue to be dead. What's the purpose? I'm not going into Islam, man. I'm not going into Christianity, man. I'm not going into these other things that ain't right. And you know deep down in your spirit, it ain't right. Like this is the only thing that's right. My last precept to deal with this point is the book of Psalms, chapter 64. So I'm gonna start at verse 1 and read it down to probably like verse 6. It says, hear my voice, O God, in my prayer. Preserve my life from fear of the enemy. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly do they shoot at him and fear not. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They consume, it's like a commune of lying snares. Privately they say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and their heart is deep. Man, they have been committing a secret counsel for the longest, man. Not only are they fighting against us, but they're fighting against the Most High God by going against his chosen people. You know what I'm saying? And we asking and we praying that the Most High will take, you know what I'm saying, that counsel, make that counsel of none effect. You know what I'm saying? Moving forward in our lives, man. I yield on that.
I got two to let me back on that. Deuteronomy chapter 4, and I'll start at 5. It says, behold, here, let me preface this. Now, just is to bring it out how you said, like, man, these other nations, man, they laughing at us, man. They know what they're doing, and the only way to get this back, to get our power back, to get our families back, because if you look at the lesson title, it's the destruction of our families, man. The only way to get this back and have something to rally around, that's why nothing else works, is to come back to these law, statute, commandments, right? Now, so this is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord my God commanded me, that you should do so in the land whither you go to possess it. Now watch. Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people. For what nation is there so great, who hath God so nigh unto them, as the Lord our God is in all things, and that we call upon him for? And what nation is there so great, that has statutes and judgments so righteous in all this law which I set before you this day? So you see, if we was keeping our law, statutes, commandments, man, that's when the nations, they see us and they stay clear away, like Judith 5 and 19 and 20. They say, wow,
Right.
these people are amazing, and they marvel at us and they respect us because they already are scared of us. All right. Now, you know, they scared of us because they know they would have burned this house down, and they waiting on the day that we actually decide to do it. That's why they're so afraid. But because but now, mind you, if we had done that, we'd have respect, and they'd fear us, they'd reverence us, and we'd be at our place and well respected. But because we're not, this is what happens. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 80 and verse 6. Thou makest us a strife unto our neighbors, and our enemies laugh among themselves. They're laughing at you. I think you're an idiot. You know what I'm saying? So it says these law, statute, commandments will be our understanding in the sight of the nations, but because we ain't following that, they laughing at us, man. You know, they require a song for us, sing and dance. And man, why you the butt of everybody joke, man? You tired of that or what?
Right. You tired of being a wagon of the hand? That's what the people do when they walk by. We just read that. They wag their hand and they hiss at us, man.
Yeah, man, they don't take you seriously. And then we already know the effects of that, you know, in the home. They got Eve not taking us seriously, man.
That's right.
You know, but once again, a lot of this is systematic, right? And if permitted to do so, I would like to show you yet another president of how he systematically destroyed our family. You know, I want to refer you over to Thomas Jefferson. I'm gonna go ahead and share this right now. All right. Now, this is a book. It's called The American Slave Coast and the History of the Slave Breeding Industry. Man, it's a heavy book. It goes into, you know, how the slave breeding industry and, you know, how they disenfranchise us. Man, we got some resources coming for y'all. Trust me. All right. So anyway, so this goes into Thomas Jefferson, yet another president. So we didn't give you Lyndon B. Johnson. We give you Andrew Jackson. Who else we gave? We gave one more. Oh, President Nixon, right? Nixon. And now this is another one. Is Thomas Jefferson, right? Now this is he said, listen, we got a problem with all these African Americans, these Negroes here, and his plan to get rid of us is to let the adult population die off and take the youth, similar to how they did in boarding schools, and send them off to back into slavery in the Caribbean and other places so they could die or just basically not be here, right? So it says Jefferson's plan was to deport flotillas of black youth in wave after wave, year after year, right? So, and I'm just read, because mind you, the book is cold. It's about almost 800 pages, but right here.
We definitely ain't reading all of that.
Oh, no. Shoot, I will. You know, I'll be getting excited. All right, but
you ain't doing all of that, brother. Say that for the book club.
God, I'm just reading a couple little things. So look, it says in it, the 80-year-old Jefferson outlined a scheme for accomplishing the colonization that would rid the United States of its proliferating African Americans once and for all, before they got any more numerous, and proposed a timeline for accomplishing the expulsion of about 6 of the nation's population, right? So just going into here, this is a direct quote from him talking about how, listen, it's going to take about 25 years to do this plan, but if we do it, we can get rid of them, right? And so in layman's terms, basically it was population control and to destroy the family and separate the children from their parents, right? So you see, so it says Jefferson calculated that though it would take 25 years to accomplish the entire project, by the last 9 years, the number of breeders, he used this word, would have diminished considerably. You know, he imagined a fleet of 50 vessels recursively sailing away full of black youth and coming back empty for more until every last one of them was gone, right? And essentially, like I said, it was to destroy the family, make the older people die off, and get rid of the children, right? By separating them from their children, but separating them from their children was not all that bad, thought Jefferson, because he explained in his notes, mind you, this is a direct quote to something that we brought out earlier. They dehumanize us. They think we're void of emotions and regular, familiar expressions. Their griefs are transient. Those numberless afflictions which render it doubtful whether heaven has given life to us in mercy or in wrath are less felt and sooner forgotten with them. In general, their existence appears to participate more of sensation than reflection. So anyway, this I ain't gonna read it all because I get excited and highlight everything, want to bring out everything. But the point is, this is another president who wanted to systematically destroy our family by separating people, getting rid of the youth. And then if you go into that book, he says, but we can't do it because so many of our people have become armed and have gotten it in the army and wouldn't go for that and potentially fight. So that's why Israelite man and woman, it's important for you to get on this side, be on the front lines, because they know that they can't do their things if they got you to stand for it. That's what our brothers say all the time. We are the warrior class of our people. We're the people that's trying to fight for you, but yet you fight us.
That's right.
Hey, yo.
Anybody else bringing this up? I yield.
Hey, I know you're about to shut it down too. To add on to the presidents and the different laws that's been implemented to separate our children and to disconnect us from our heritage through knowledge and through wisdom. Also add on to the church in that aspect. I say this all the time about our Northern Kingdom brothers. They've been so affected by Catholicism, by the Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? Their priests have molested our younger brothers and sisters, our children. You know what I'm saying? To a crazy degree. That's been hidden for years. The molestations that they've been doing to them kids, to them boys. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to point out that, man, it's across the board for our people. You know what I'm saying? Not only the church, but also in Islam. They do the same thing, man. They molest young boys too. Mm-hmm. Y'all didn't know that, did y'all? You know what I'm saying? We talked about this before a while ago. I think we did a class on P for what was it? The LGBT community
and P for pedophilia.
P for pedophilia. You know what I'm saying? In Afghanistan and other Muslim countries, they'll have sex with little boys, bro.
And the hadith tells you that Muslim had Muhammad had a 9-year-old wife.
Right. Yo, that's a whole nother story that we're gonna get, a whole nother class that we're gonna get out of on Malachi, because he loves smashing that monkey book. And Kahari too. Kahari loves smashing that monkey book too. So we're gonna get them up on the show one day and talk about it.
That's right, man. That's right. Hey, look, we appreciate y'all patience, Israel. Listen, I do want to leave you with this word of encouragement. Let's get Galatians 6 and 9. A lot of the times we hit you with a bunch of sad scriptures, man, and leave you mad when you go back home to your family. Man, but we gotta remember, man, it's an upward looking story, right? That's why it's called the gospel. It's the good news. And although all of those bad things happen, do not grow weary in well doing. We're gonna let the verse say it.
This is the book of Galatians, chapter 6 and verse 9. And let us not be weary in well doing.
Mm-hmm.
For in due season we shall reap if we faint not.
You see that? So although Esau has many devices stacked against you, nobody can be against you if Yahweh is for you.
Super calm.
All right. So hey, we love y'all, Israel. Anybody got anything else to say?
Hey, we working on that history and prophecy class, man. It's coming. So don't forget, we ain't forget about y'all, man.
Hey, that's right. The so-called Jewish man is going down. Got that locked and loaded for you, all right? All right. Hey, we love y'all. We want to say we are the sons of Thunder Israelites. It's our heart's prayer and desire for all Israel, all Yasha Allah, that they might be saved.
Khan.
Khan.
Shalom.